evening. Susana Baker with ARTtalk on the Money Man. Every single Tuesday, bringing the art happenings of the town from the canvas to the red carpet, as I say. And we're so proud that Alicia and Dan Frischberg gives us this platform because they believe in the arts and money, investment, arts, Miami, Florida. It's all booming. And our station is booming with sunshine because we have a great guest, which is Sean McCormick. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Susana Baker. How are you today?
I am super excited. I know you're cooking so many wonderful projects for downtown, which is booming and building. I mean, I was in Mary Brickell Place the other day, Dan and Alicia. I don't know if you've been there. I was there for the freebie opening, with the electric carts.
Sure, I was there as well.
You were there as well, right? I must have missed you. And I just looked up in the sky and saw this huge monster. It is amazing what's happening downtown. What is your take on all this building and developing? And before we go into the arts, I was on the beach on Labor Day with some investors all over. They came down and we all gathered together in a condo on Collins. And this Airbnb is amazing. They got this huge unit for like $400 a night. And so I'm wondering what impact that's going to have on hotels. But as I'm sitting there with these investors, they're all saying, wow, we're hearing there's like 56 buildings, projects in the skyline. You could see the cranes back up. Will that cause another bubble? What's your take on that?
There's a lot of people out there saying we could be ripe for something like that. We're repeating a lot of the number of buildings and the number of units being built right now from the last go around. I believe that Miami itself, Miami-Dade County represents 51% of new project starts in all of South Florida, which is about, I believe, 61 towers and a little over 18,000 units. So, but I think what's different about this go around is these are all cash buyers. And each one of the contracts are required to put 50% down in cash, and so you're not looking at the small deposits of 5 or 10%, and then everybody hoping to get financing at the end of the day.
We're getting smarter.
Well, it's not only that; it's what we were talking about before. The dollar is going to be getting strong against the euro and the yen and every South American currency for a long time. And anybody with money needs to get them out of there. And the smartest thing anybody can do is to earn rent in dollars, which is working both ways. You're making money because you're earning income, but you're also as the currency translates back to your native place, you get richer instead of poorer. So there's just enormous amount of demand for American income producing assets.
It's a carriage rate in action.
As long as the dollar goes up and stabilizes and stays.
Well, the way I look at it is the flight to quality, and the United States real estate, particularly Miami, is probably the best asset class to own right now, and always is and always has been. So I think that's really what we're witnessing right now.
So the question Susana was going to ask, I want to refine it a little bit and ask it a little bit more specifically, because we've got a world of investors out there. One of the smartest architects, I'm going to ask you a question based on a very smart architect's advice and a very smart economist's advice. But first, the architect who told me, and one of the reasons that we started to do this art experience was because one of the smartest architects I know told me one of the best ways to find out what's going to appreciate in value is follow the artists as they move into a new neighborhood, and the next thing they do is it starts to look nice, and the next thing is going to be outdoor cafes, and the next thing you get is beautiful office buildings, and everything looks up as the artists move in, and the thing becomes more fashionable, and the lofts and all of that stuff, and we've seen it happen, and it's moving toward Brickell. And so what I wanted to ask you, Sean, was where are we going to see the next place that regular people, obviously it would be nice to build a 100-story high-rise down right there at the edge of the bay. That's what I'd like to do. Failing that, where do you see this the boom development? Yeah, where do you see the boom moving to?
Well, it's funny that we're creating something right now called the Miami Downtown Arts District, what we're calling MDAD. And what you would think would be very high on the radar, which it is in a lot of ways, is downtown Miami. And downtown Miami has seen some bit of a renaissance here from the last go around with some of the new condo development. But you're seeing a lot of infill that can happen. And so you'll see a lot of studios and artists and galleries have actually come from the Wynwood and the Design District have now started locating in the downtown area. And so I think that's really going to be the next new story as to how to proliferate a new art scene for the downtown district.
So where is there going to be new residential lofts, small, low-rise kind of artist housing? What is the investment that's going to be manageable for a regular person?
I think you're seeing a lot of that happen. I don't know about a regular person what that means anymore, because all of Miami real estate has gotten so expensive.
Well, one tier down from the 50-story building.
I think that you're seeing a lot of overspill locations. You know, outside of downtown, you have places like Little Havana. I think from Wynwood, you're seeing a lot of overspill, and Design District, you're seeing Little Haiti start to pop up a little bit. If that's answering your question, as
Yeah,
to
I think
where's the push?
Yeah,
but you know, these are areas that are still gentrifying, and so you've probably got a longer horizon, I think, as you start to push out into these outer lying neighborhoods.
Meaning it's going to take longer for them to get stylish and nice.
You're going to see it take some time.
The reason Daniel is asking this question together with Susana is because we have a lot of listening audience who are in the standby, holding money, wanting to know.
And
where
we
to
just
go.
spent a half an hour talking about the strengthening dollar, and the place to make money is earning income in dollars. Right. And so this is a natural.
This is a natural thing because honestly, Miami has grown. It's always been, like Sean said, for the rich and famous. And if you were in the 19th century or the 20th century, the place to have your winter home was always Miami. And in the future, it was always that way, except for the 80s with the Mariel boat lift that made it a little bit of a ghost town. But the rest is history. We'll talk more about it. I'm Susana Baker.
Sean McCormick.
I'm Alicia Frischberg.
And this is the Money Man Report. I'm Dan Frischberg. Stay with us.
Partners to align the right synergies, the right time. And I really believe, Dan, on a scale from 1 to 10, Miami downtown is just at maybe a 2. I mean, what is going to happen is outrageously crazy. I don't think, you know, we just got passed for the tallest structure behind the, American Airlines Arena will go the tallest building in the world.
We have in the studio a visionary person, which I'm actually watching, and at the same time understanding that as an investor, if you get to the place at the right time, you get paid for the invention and the thought process and what that certain individual is doing. That's you.
On Alicia's, her motto on her email and on the back of her business card, she used to have it. There's Peter F. Drucker, who's a business professor, writer, used to say that regular people, accountants, think that profit is the difference between the sales and the expenses. He said, no, that's your slave wages. Profit is the innovation. It's the little premium you get before everybody catches up to you. Yes. And that part is the profit. Once they catch up, you're just working for a living. But the innovation and getting paid for the innovation, that's the premium.
Well said. Very well said.
And I think you all did start the conversation out correct in saying, where is the next opportunity? I do believe that downtown is that next opportunity. If you look at prices per square foot, what a condominium costs today, what raw land is costing, what can be done with it, there's a significant delta comparatively to somebody who's buying in South Beach, let's say.
Okay, we'll be right back after these important messages.
I'm Susana Baker with ARTtalk.
And Sean McCormick.
He means it's going to move more for every bit that the economy moves.
I'm Alicia.
He's talking about leverage. We'll be right back.
Okay, so we're back with ARTtalk. Susana Baker on The Money Man every Tuesdays from 10:30 to 11. Sean McCormick is our guest this morning. And as we know, whoever knows the name, hey, Sean, I got to tell you something. I started to take a history class for my master's. Like, I don't have enough hats I'm wearing. But I got to tell you, it started last Thursday with Dr. Paul George. I am so excited going back to school. I feel like a young kid. But with that, in my history book, the name McCormick is all over the place. I mean, you are 5th generation?
Yeah, 3rd generation.
3rd generation of McCormick's prominent family came here in the early 20th century or late 19th century?
1922, my grandfather, Dr. James McCormick, came to Miami.
Now, the McCormick Place, which is named after your father, is an epicenter of contemporary art. And I understand you're doing an anniversary or a big party coming soon. Tell our fans about that.
We are. There's quite a lot of things happening in downtown right now in the art scene. The Downtown Development Authority is entering into its third year of Downtown Art Days. So September 19th, 20th, and 21st, which is a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All of downtown will activate. I believe there's probably about 150 different organizations that will be activating over that weekend, McCormick Place being one of them. We're also going to be doing a kickoff party for what we're calling MDAD, the new formation of the Miami Downtown Arts District. And so the Miami Downtown Arts District will basically encompass everything from Biscayne Bay west to I-95, north to about 21st Street where Young Arts is, and then south down to Key Biscayne, which is 26th Road. And so what the idea is that we're going to create MDAD as an official district in order to create one voice for all the history, art, and cultural organizations, and pick up on the idea that we are a district now that the Perez Art Museum is open and operating. A lot of little art studios, galleries, etc. have now started springing up in downtown.
Is this something, we have audience listening from all over the world. They're listening on iHeart, and then they're going to hear the podcast on iTunes and everything. Is this a time when somebody might come on their vacation a little bit early? Is this something that the public is going to be able to come to and it's worth traveling to?
Sure, it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful weekend. And like I said, on that Friday, there's going to be a tremendous number of activations across the city. So it would be a very nice,
What does activations mean?
Oh, exactly, like to answer your question, Dan, the South Beach Food and Wine Festival. It's a large, it's a large tent on the beach, but that's only one. Different hotels, different restaurants, different places, industry partners, all have chefs cooking. It could be a champagne one, it could be a pancake one. And so all Miami and Miami Beach becomes a 3-day, 4-day, 5-day event of food and wine. And so there's a guide, and with that guide, you can go to different places and buy tickets. Art Days, the Downtown Authority wanted to stimulate people to walk around, to use the Metro Mover, to use all these wonderful public transportations, and to take advantage of seeing all the wonderful downtown facilities that are empowering art. McCormick Place is one. You have the PAM as another one. You have Freedom Tower as another one. You have Seafair for Leanne Lester as another one. You have the Intercontinental. You have Places on Brickell, History of Miami. All of them are activating an event for the arts, empowering artists.
Activating. What does that mean?
Activating meaning having a performance, something going on.
They're going to do something.
I think it's an
gonna do
artsy
something.
word
Open
that
their
we're all
door.
gonna
Put
open
on
our
a,
doors.
yeah, it's an insider's event planner word,
No,
right?
but it's for the
It's
public.
an insider word.
If you looked at the paper this weekend, you will see the Downtown Art Days already has started to inform the public. And if you go onto their website, the downtownauthority.com
Downtown
or
Development
org,
Authority.
or .org,
.com, yeah.
.com, and so you'll see everything. McCormick, what's your website? Tell
Yeah.
our fans and
We're
listeners.
best place to keep up to date with us is it's McCormick Place Miami on Facebook, or our website, which is McCormickPlace-Miami.com. But we'll be opening and activating that weekend. That Friday, September 19th, like I said, we're going to be announcing MDAD from 6 to 7, the Miami Downtown Arts District. Mayor Jimenez's office has given us a proclamation in order to officiate the commencement here of the MDAD district. And we'll have food and drinks. It'll be open, free to the public.
6 to 7?
6 to 7.
And
will
where's
be,
the McCormick Place,
That's the
the
press
address?
conference, and we're at 111 Southwest 3rd Street. Then the rest of
Okay, so we're back. Susana Baker and Art Talk on the Money Man every Tuesday from 10:30 to 11, bringing you the art happenings around town. And with us this morning, if you're tuning in, is Sean McCormick of McCormick Place, who is going to be receiving on September 19th. His organization is going to be officiated by Mayor Jimenez, Carlos Jimenez of Miami-Dade County, Florida, for those that are listening from other parts of the country and the world. And so, as we know, it is wonderful because McCormick Place has been infused for many years, building and growing the art epicenter in his 7-story property downtown. Started with a few artists that were being displaced from Wynwood, and it seems as these neighborhoods and districts in Miami do receive those artists, like Dan said before, the influx of artists come in, they open up their studios. Before you know it, all these hipsters come in, and the hipsters visit the artist. Then somebody opens up a restaurant. The sidewalks gets larger, they get wider, and before you know it, you have what has happened in South Beach, what happened in Wynwood, what happened in the good old days with Cocoa Walk. Prior to Cocoa Walk, we knew that art started in Coconut Grove, and then Sean, 4 years ago, got this idea to take a building that could have been rented quickly by many attorneys that work downtown, and you decided to take your 7-story downtown Ace property, location, and not rent it to attorneys, and not rent it to judges or any of these bail bonds or anything that you could have gotten, because that definitely is a synergy for your area. You went totally 360. How did your dad take that?
Well, he didn't really understand it at first, being an attorney himself, but it's funny, the attorneys and judges are now coming back to the property. Classically, we have rented to those type of tenants. And now they're coming back and they're renting the gallery event space, and so they're doing private parties, events. We've had a judge do her investiture party there. We've had law firms rent to do networkers, things of that nature. So really, they've just come back in a different way at this point, and now they're coming to engage the art, and that's the reason that they want to be there, is to be creatively stimulated. And so it really is just what you had said earlier, that what's old is new again. Coconut Grove was where the art movement started in Miami in the 60s and 70s. By that time, the 80s, 90s, it moved over to South Beach. You watch South Beach take off. It's come across the bridge to Wynwood and the Design District, and now those spots are starting to overflow, and that's where I think downtown is becoming a little bit more creative and hip as it becomes this great metropolitan city that it is.
And even west of your typical downtown blocks, I see a lot of opportunity, Dan, like you were asking, what kind of opportunities there are. I think that when you had mentioned during the conversation, during the break, we were talking about the boom in Miami and what opportunities, what might be left in what industries, and you mentioned hotel, because our rates and we're like number 5 up there in room rates, and so a hotel industry seems like a good thing. Several convention centers. You mentioned downtown is going to have a brand new convention center at World Center, but Wynwood is also having a brand new convention center, which talks are and rumors are that Art Basel might be there next year. I don't know. I'm going to have Bob Goodman on the show, put him on the spot. But other than that, there's so many of these wonderful convention centers and so much building and boom in Miami. Where do you see the artists going?
Again, as we said earlier, they're starting to overflow into a lot of different spots. Little Havana, you're seeing them move into Little Haiti. You're seeing them come into downtown and certain areas of downtown, which are just, regentrifying after being long forgotten for 30, 40, 50 years in some locations. So I think that's really the movement. That Wynwood has become a beautiful spot. It's still continuing to grow, and the design district has just been tremendous. I mean, you look what Craig Robbins has done. I love to hear everybody call him the overnight success story, but he's been working that plan for 20 years.
I know.
So if that's overnight, then congratulations.
Yeah, he's done a terrific job, and I live in the design district, so I've seen it since being there for the last 25 years. Tony Cho will be on our show and next week, and Tony Cho from Metro One also has been one of the quiet developers, actually acquiring 20 acres in Wynwood very quietly, an assemblage that's amazing. So he'll have a lot of stories and a lot of things to tell us about his projects in Wynwood, which he quietly acquired 20 acres in Wynwood. Could you imagine that?
Tony's done a great job as being as a real estate broker and being a first mover and really garnering some big dollars from investors to come into that area. At the same time that Tony Goldman and Lombardi had started to assemble massive parcels there as well. So He was very astute into focusing his brokerage in on that area at that
Well,
time.
Sean McCormick, we love you. We everybody, we invite all our audience nationally, internationally into Miami, Florida, downtown, 111 Southwest 3rd Street, McCormick Place. If you want to see a major art story there, 7 stories of art, fabulous studios, fabulous artists, food, drinks, the mayor's going to be there, Sean McCormick. Anything you want to say last, or give your website again?
Yeah, please stay updated on our Facebook page, McCormick Place Miami. We're going to start doing our drip campaign of who's going to be activating that evening on September 19th.
Okay, that's it, folks.
No, she said we're so. Okay. I wanted to say real quickly, Catherine, I need you, Sean, if you could send us your invite and flyer, we'll put it on our website, theartexperiences.com. TheArt experiences.com. You can find all the information for downtown art days and the McCormick Place especially. And the art experiences soon will be launching Art After Dark, empowering downtown and all the great things you do.
We look forward to you joining
Alicia,
MDAC.
you ready to put your party shoes?
I'm done. There they go.
Okay, awesome, done.